Have you ever paused for a moment to notice how the invisible pressures around you shape the very essence of your life? Every heartbeat, every breath, and every fleeting thought carries with it the weight of unseen forces, some gentle and others suffocating. Stress, in its silent and relentless way, has a power most of us underestimate. It whispers into our minds, alters the rhythm of our days, and seeps into the depths of our bodies, touching even the organs we rarely consider until something goes wrong. Among these, the kidneys, small, unassuming, yet vital, bear a burden few recognize. They filter the life-giving essence of our blood, maintain the balance of fluids, and quietly regulate the delicate systems that keep us alive. But when stress lingers, unresolved and unchecked, it sends ripples of tension through these organs, influencing blood pressure, inflammation, and overall resilience in ways that are both subtle and profound. Imagine a river, serene on the surface, yet beneath, currents churn fiercely, eroding the banks slowly but relentlessly. This is how stress works in the body, and for those with chronic kidney disease, the consequences can be far more than a simple inconvenience. They can accelerate the very progression of the illness, silently but inevitably. And yet, there is hope. And within this understanding lies the first glimmer of empowerment. Recognizing that stress is not merely a state of mind, but a tangible influence on the body's most critical systems, transforms the way we approach health. We begin to see that managing stress is not indulgent, nor is it a luxury for the fortunate. It is necessity, a tool, and in many ways, a form of medicine. Dr. Mathew R. Weir teaches that the human body is not a machine to be pushed mindlessly, but a delicate ecosystem where every emotion, every tension, and every choice resonates across multiple layers of existence. To honor this, we must listen to the subtle signals, embrace the practices that restore balance, and recognize that even the smallest shift in our mental landscape can ripple through our physiological landscape in profound ways. It is in this convergence of mind and body that the journey begins. We often think of stress as something external, emails, deadlines, relationships, but it is equally internal, a dialogue within ourselves that either fosters resilience or erodes vitality. Each moment, we allow worry to dominate. Each instance, we ignore the signals of our body. Stress compounds, and its silent influence on our kidneys grows, often unnoticed until symptoms emerge. But here lies the transformative insight. Knowledge is power, and awareness is the first step toward mastery. By understanding the mechanisms through which stress affects the kidneys, how hormones like cortisol influence blood pressure and inflammation, we equip ourselves with the ability to intervene, to take deliberate action, and to reclaim authority over our health. This is not merely about survival, it is about flourishing. In every decision to pause, to breathe, to practice mindfulness or intentional relaxation, we enact a small but meaningful resistance against the forces that threaten to undermine us. And while the path may seem subtle, incremental, even imperceptible at times, it accumulates, shaping the trajectory of our well-being in ways that are profound and lasting. Stress does not have to be a silent assassin in our lives. It can become a teacher, a guide, and a call to deeper awareness. By treating it with respect, by recognizing its influence on critical systems like the kidneys, we step into a higher form of self-care, one that bridges the gap between mental discipline and physical vitality. Dr. Mathew R. Weir emphasizes that this holistic vision, where mind, body, and conscious choice intersect, is not theoretical. It is actionable, tangible, and transformative. The journey toward better kidney health, toward resilience in the face of chronic disease, begins with acknowledging the unseen forces that shape us, and then intentionally choosing practices that restore harmony. It is in these daily mindful choices that we begin to reclaim our lives, to turn the tide against stress, and to cultivate an inner landscape of balance, peace, and empowered living. As we continue to explore the delicate interplay between stress and the body, it becomes clear that what we often dismiss as mere tension carries consequences far beyond our awareness. Stress is not a visitor that comes and goes lightly. It is a persistent force, an invisible sculptor shaping the architecture of our health in ways both subtle and profound. For those living with chronic kidney disease, this force can be particularly insidious. The kidneys, these quiet sentinels of life, are especially sensitive to the biochemical storms that stress can unleash. Cortisol surges, blood pressure fluctuations, and inflammatory responses do not occur in isolation. They intertwine, creating a cascade of effects that can silently accelerate the deterioration of kidney function. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast canyon, the depth hidden in shadows, the distance obscured by mist. Each step forward seems ordinary, but with every incremental shift, the unseen depths hold potential danger. That is the hidden nature of stress on the body. Largely invisible, quietly pervasive, and often underestimated until it manifests in undeniable ways. Yet within this shadowed landscape lies profound opportunity. By recognizing the mechanisms through which stress influences the kidneys, we uncover the potential for intervention, transformation, and even empowerment. Dr. Mathew R. Weir often reminds us that knowledge without application is like a seed left in the dark. It may hold promise, but it cannot grow. To act upon this understanding is to bring light into shadow, to give shape to what was once hidden, and to take ownership of our well-being. But there is a deeper dimension to this journey, one that introduces both suspense and revelation. Consider for a moment the very nature of chronic illness. It is not merely a battle fought on the physical plane, but a mirror reflecting the cumulative effects of choices, habits, and unseen stressors over a lifetime. In this sense, the disease becomes a messenger, demanding attention to the patterns we may have ignored, the tensions we may have suppressed, and the silent dialogues within ourselves that shape our health more than any external factor. The suspense emerges not from the threat of illness alone, but from the realization that each individual holds the capacity to change the narrative, to intervene in the story of their body before crisis becomes unavoidable. It is a quiet, suspenseful tension between what has been allowed to accumulate and what might yet be transformed. Imagine the moment of insight when one understands that stress is not simply a backdrop of life, but an active participant in the trajectory of chronic disease. The implications are both daunting and liberating. It is daunting because it requires honesty, introspection, and disciplined action. It is liberating because it reveals that, in this vast interplay, the power to redirect the course resides within us. Through deliberate mindfulness, conscious breathing, intentional movement, and thoughtful reflection, stress ceases to be an external tyrant and becomes a teacher, a guide toward deeper self-awareness, balance, and resilience. The physiological processes that once felt beyond our control, the hormone surges, the pressure spikes, the inflammatory responses, can be moderated, influenced, and guided by our choices. And in this lies a profound philosophy of empowerment. Dr. Mathew R. Weir teaches that holistic health is not a passive state. It is an active practice, a daily commitment to observe, understand, and harmonize the mind and body. By integrating this wisdom, we move beyond superficial solutions and embrace strategies that honor the interconnectedness of our mental and physical landscapes. In doing so, we equip ourselves to face stress not with resignation, but with intention, turning what once threatened our kidneys into an opportunity for growth, learning, and resilience. The suspense resolves not in fear, but in the revelation of agency, the realization that awareness and action can transform vulnerability into strength. In practical terms, this means adopting lifestyle habits that reduce chronic stress, prioritizing sleep, nurturing meaningful connections, and cultivating a mindful presence that observes tension without allowing it to dictate the rhythm of life. It is within this conscious practice that the kidneys, and indeed the entire body, begin to experience relief, restoration, and protection. Every choice to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively contributes to a cumulative effect that can slow disease progression, enhance quality of life, and create a sense of control where previously there was uncertainty. The philosophical essence of this journey is profound. Life's pressures are inevitable, yet their impact is not predetermined. Each decision to engage with stress intentionally, to respect the signals of the body, and to integrate holistic care represents a reclaiming of personal power and a manifestation of hope. In this dynamic interplay, we begin to understand that health is not merely the absence of illness, but the presence of conscious alignment between mind, body, and spirit. And it is precisely in this alignment that chronic kidney disease meets its most powerful adversary: awareness, intention, and action. As we approach the culmination of this journey, it becomes clear that the path to resilience and health is not defined by circumstance, but by the choices we make within it. Stress, once perceived as an unavoidable burden, transforms into a mirror, reflecting our capacity for awareness, adaptability, and conscious living. The kidneys, those quiet guardians of life's delicate balance, remind us that every system within the body is interwoven, responding not only to physical inputs, but to the subtle energies of thought, emotion, and perception. In this context, managing stress transcends conventional advice. It becomes a deliberate practice, a conscious decision to honor the body as the sacred vessel through which life flows. Dr. Mathew R. Weir teaches that true health emerges when we embrace this holistic vision, where mind and body are not adversaries, but partners in the pursuit of equilibrium. Recognizing the profound influence of stress on kidney function invites us to cultivate daily habits that support both mental and physiological wellness, from mindful breathing and meditation to reflective journaling and intentional rest. Each small action, seemingly insignificant in isolation, accumulates over time, creating a momentum capable of reshaping the course of chronic disease and fostering a deeper sense of inner strength. Yet, there is a subtle tension in this process, a suspenseful awareness that transformation is never instantaneous. The forces that have shaped our health over years, perhaps decades, cannot be reversed with a single decision or fleeting moment of mindfulness. It requires patience, dedication, and the courage to face uncomfortable truths about the patterns and habits that have brought us to this point. In this tension lies the essence of empowerment, understanding that while the journey may be gradual, the capacity for change is always present. The kidneys, sensitive to the rhythm of our stress responses, respond not only to medical interventions, but to the intentional cultivation of calm, balance, and resilience. Cortisol levels can be moderated, blood pressure stabilized, and inflammation reduced through practices that honor the interconnectedness of mind and body. This holistic approach transforms stress from a silent adversary into a guide, revealing areas where growth, reflection, and conscious choice can lead to profound improvements in both health and quality of life. As we navigate this path, we encounter moments of insight that feel almost revelatory, sudden clarity that illuminates the hidden ways in which our thoughts, emotions, and decisions ripple through our physiology. It is here, in these moments, that Dr. Mathew R. Weir's teachings resonate most deeply, reminding us that awareness and intentionality are not abstract ideals, but practical tools capable of shaping outcomes. By embracing this philosophy, we step into a life where chronic kidney disease is not simply a diagnosis, but a call to engage deeply with the mind-body connection, to honor the rhythms of our being, and to cultivate resilience that extends beyond the physical into the emotional and spiritual dimensions. Every breath taken mindfully, every moment of reflection, and every conscious choice to reduce tension becomes part of a larger strategy of empowerment, influencing the trajectory of health in ways that conventional treatments alone cannot achieve. This realization carries with it a profound responsibility: to live intentionally, to respect the signals of the body, and to cultivate practices that nurture both self-awareness and physiological well-being. In doing so, we create a life where the impact of stress is mitigated, where kidney function is preserved, and where a sense of harmony permeates every facet of existence. The journey toward mastering the influence of stress is ongoing, requiring vigilance, practice, and a willingness to embrace the philosophical lessons embedded within our physical experiences. Yet, in embracing this path, we discover that life's pressures, while inevitable, need not dictate our destiny. Instead, they offer opportunities for reflection, growth, and transformation, guiding us toward deeper understanding, greater resilience, and a more empowered way of living. As we conclude this exploration, let us carry forward the wisdom that true health is not merely the absence of disease, but the conscious cultivation of balance, awareness, and purposeful action in every aspect of life. Remember, this channel is inspired by the teachings of Dr. Mathew R. Weir, whose vision emphasizes holistic care and proactive engagement with our health. Stress, when understood and managed intentionally, is not a silent enemy, but a guidepost toward greater clarity and resilience. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early. Let this knowledge inspire your choices, strengthen your resolve, and illuminate the path toward a life of conscious wellness, where each action contributes to the protection of your kidneys, the balance of your mind, and the flourishing of your spirit.